Hello everybody, Danny back from Deepsouth Homestead on Porch Time today, guys. It's about to get dark on me here. It looks light by the camera, but I have the lights turned on under the where the syrup building is here, and the light is illuminating everything behind me here, and you can kind of see the sun in the background back there. It's just going down over the trees. It'll be dark in a few minutes. Ms. Wanda's taking care of some last minute watering. We done a few things around the property. Spent the day with Mr. Chris today. Me and him was able to get a few things done around the property here. Went over a bunch of hunting strategies that we were going to use. We walked the property and found trails and just spent the day just getting things done, tying up loose ends on some things that we need to get tied up, and really had a good day. Had a good visit, had a good day. And now it's late in the afternoon, and this is a Sunday afternoon. It's got to be pretty warm today. Got up in the mid 80s today. Started off this morning in the high 40s. Got in the mid 80s. Now a light breeze is blowing. The temperature is dropping really quick. I'm sitting out here in a shirt. Arms is actually a little cool, but hey, I'll take it over the extreme heat. We've been kind of surveying a lot of our plant issues, you know. That we're just seeing things we've never had happen this time of the year, you know. We're almost at the end of October here, and guys, we've had no rain here. It is so dusty. It's unreal. Humidity, Ms. Wanda looked a while ago, was in the 20s here. We never ever have humidity in the 20s. My skin is drying out really bad on my hands. I mean, it's just, we're not used to the dryness here. We're used to having a heavy humidity. I get up in the mornings and I come out, the windows are just covered with dust still. Normally we have a heavy dew on the windows and there's water, you know, all over the windows, and everything is wet. The plants are enjoying the moisture. I mean, I was up at 6 o'clock this morning up in the field up here with a water hose watering the turnips before the sun got up. And because I have to. I mean, that's what you do. But you know, we're going into the fall. The fall is probably one of the most busy times of the year for people who garden, because I mean, God made life a specific way. When it's hot in the summer, your body requires a certain type of food to be able to live in the summer. Thus, we can grow the beans and the squashes, the summer squashes, and you know, tomatoes and lettuces and stuff like that. But when you move to the fall and the winter, the body requires a different kind of food. It's not a time to quit gardening. It's a time to intensify your gardening and to really start growing what your body needs in the wintertime, like your leafy greens, your Brussels sprouts, your cabbages, all your brassicas, your beets. You know, time to bring in the winter squash and the pumpkins and stuff like that. Sweet potatoes, your root crops. It's time to put the rutabagas in, so you got some rutabagas and some root crops, because that's what the body requires during the cold, damp winter months. It's not a time to just be lackadaisical, thinking, oh well, the season's over, you know. No. In the deep south here, we grow right on through the whole winter. Even though it gets down to way below freezing, we get frost, we get freezes and stuff like that, we still put the row covers over them, the frost blankets over stuff. We got the high tunnel here now. We keep stuff in the high tunnel. We keep our stuff growing in there. And the winter time and the fall is really one of the busier times for us. When it's hot during in the south here in the summer months, we try to get out early in the mornings and maybe late in the afternoons. We don't do too much during the day, except inside jobs if we can help it. But we really ramp it up in the fall and the winter months. I mean, we just finished harvesting some of our citrus trees. The citrus fruits are coming in. Stuff like that's really good for Thanksgiving. We've been getting our cranberries in from Azure Standard. We've been canning the cranberry, making cranberry sauces and stuff like that for the winter months. You know, fixing to get ready to start planting the onions. Hoss Tool is where we order our onions from this year. We will probably start planting them about mid-November so that we have really good onions hopefully this coming year, because I love fresh onions. You know, I mean, fresh onions are very healthy for you. They're just good. The big old sweet onions, I love them. Wanda and I both just love them. So that's, I mean, you got to get ready to start growing that stuff. You know, I mean, carrots, we got to get the carrot beds ready. It's time to plant carrots for next spring. All that kind of, I mean, just guys, there's a ton of stuff got to be done. The ground's got to be got ready for next year. All the pecans are falling. The walnuts are falling here. There's just hickory nuts. All this stuff is beginning to fall here. The ground is covered up with them. Mr. Chris was looking at all the hickory nuts today, and he said, "My goodness, look at all these hickory nuts." And I gave him some walnuts to take home, to plant some, to have him some walnut trees. I just told him, don't plant them near anything you want to grow around it. Just make sure it's an open area, you know, to plant them in, because of the chemicals that they give off. But, you know, the fall and the winter, a lot of people call them the dreary times of the year. Technically, no, that's not true. The fall is really a time of the year when a lot of feasts, a lot of festivals, Thanksgiving, you know, Sukkot, Feast of Tabernacles, all this kind of stuff goes on during the fall months. And that's what's so exciting about it. It's time for Thanksgiving, you know, time for the family to get together and give thanks for what the Lord has, the prosperity, break out all the foods and stuff, you know, that you have. I mean, hunting season comes around during the winter months. We're able to squirrel hunt and quail hunt and turkey. We can't turkey hunt here in the fall. We can in the spring, but deer hunting, I mean, you know, all of your rabbit hunting, all these things like this, you actually preserve you kill your hogs, you kill your cows, you kill all this stuff during the winter months so that you can actually make the sausages. Thus me building the smokehouse so we can smoke the sausages and the bacons. And, you know, we're building the evaporator right here in front of me. When you go into this time of the year, we're sitting here, you know, it's the time you start cutting your cane and your sugar cane. And those of you who are up north of us, y'all have the sorghum that you actually cut and harvest up there, and you press and make your syrups and stuff like that. It's a very busy time of the year, the fall and the winter. When you go up into the zone 5 and 4 up in there, then you're tapping the maple trees in the spring. You're getting ready, the late winter, should I say. It's still snow on the ground. You're tapping all your maple trees. You're getting ready to make all your maple syrup and stuff like that. It's a very, very busy time of the year. It's not a time to be sitting around twiddling your thumbs, you know. It's a good time to begin planning for next spring and next summer vegetables during your winter months. And if you live in the deep south like we do, you need to get like I said, you need to get your onions in, you need to get your carrots in and stuff like that, so that you'll have good sweet carrots and good sweet onions this coming spring. Because in the south, if you wait till the spring to plant onions and carrots, your carrots get bitter when the heat hits them, and your onions don't usually do as good. And I have done it and have grown some fairly nice onions, but nothing like you can if you start them in the fall. Because it's just, guys, I don't even know how to explain it. We've been busting our tails here like crazy for the last couple of months, trying to get ready. I'm about half through with the smokehouse. I'm about half through with the furnace here. You know, we do have the prepper shack where we can, you know, cut up our meat, process our meat and everything in there. That is good to go. We're ready there. We got it where we can hang an animal here and skin it. I just need to get the limestone on the floor here so it don't make a muddy mess. We got the cane mill set up here. Mr. Tim's working on all the gear process to get the gear ratios down so it's not moving so fast. It's just busy this time of the year. And I guess my heart really breaks for the people up in the Western Carolinas, Georgia, and it irritates me that people don't talk about Georgia and Tennessee and West Virginia. You know, they had problems too, you know. And it breaks my heart that a lot of our apples and peaches and all that kind of stuff, they come from up in those areas, you know, and it just, I sit back and I look at all the damage that went on to people's properties. You know, they had their fruit orchards and they had their homes and their homesteads and their animal pens and their pastures all laid out, their fencing all up. They had all this kind of stuff done. And guys, the weather just took it all away. And I feel for them because now it's cold and many of them have no homes. I have seen where some different people are trying to get them some propane heaters and stuff like that up in there so that they can have some heat. But I'm very concerned for our brothers and sisters in the Carolinas and all up through there because of the, I just might as well go ahead and just say it. Because of the toxicity of the area now. The area is now toxic. There has been my understanding from information I've gotten, there's been a tremendous amount of chemicals that's been leached into all those pristine waters that used to run through those mountains up there is now contaminated. People's homes that got flooded is now contaminated with all types of, let's use the word bio waste and man-made waste from fusion. Okay, let's just say that. A lot of the plants upstream that got damaged, a lot of their stuff leaked into all these streams and all. And guys, it's not going to be safe to go back there. People are sick everywhere. Animals are dying. And what do you say to people? You know, what do you tell someone who has spent their whole life there? Their family grew up there. It's all they know. And you look at them and go, your place is contaminated now. And it's not safe for you to keep your family here. So do you stay and live with the sicknesses and die an early death? Do you move on to somewhere else hoping for greener pastures? You know, I mean, what do you do during this? This would be a hard decision to make. Wanda and I have talked about this quite often because on the Gulf Coast of South Mississippi down here where we live at, and Alabama and Florida and Louisiana, there is some flesh-eating bacteria that's down here in the waters. When the Horizon oil spill took place, all those benzene and toluene and all those fumes like that were coming ashore. Lots of people end up with, you know, different cancers and stuff like this. And Wanda and I have, you know, the fresh water is getting infiltrated by salt waters and stuff like this, ground contaminants and stuff. And hurricanes are really ramping up really, really bad. And we've talked. And we've had to make a decision that we're not attached to anything that we have. Now, it would be heartbreaking to put as much effort as we've put into the places that we have and to have to leave them because they've been destroyed or contaminated with something. But we have made our minds up. And the best time to do it, guys, is ahead of time. So that if it happens, we won't be heartbroken when it happens. We've already come to the realization that the possibility of having to relocate or to lose everything that you've worked for is very much a real possibility, you know. And what the conclusion that we came to is this world is not our home. You know, the Lord says we're to be in the world, but we're not to be of the world. And he plainly teaches us in the scriptures that we're to come out from among her and to be separate from the system that we're under. And for that reason alone right there, we try not to get involved any more than we have to in the systems of this world. We're trying to keep our life very simple. We're trying to do everything that we do the simple way. Trying not to get too wrapped up in technology, even though I don't think technology will ever go away, because the beast system spoken of in Revelation is going to be using a lot of technology. A lot of nanotechnology will be used. A lot of quantum technology will be used. And we are right on the brink of it, to be honest with you. I've looked at some documents, let's just say that. I have looked at some documents that it blows my mind as to the advancements that man has made in the last few years, where, I'm watching my words, okay? Where we have technology now that's fixing to be very readily available, that your phones, your computers, and stuff like that will be linked to your mind. That technology is out there. It's already being used. I've seen some of the results of it, and it's one of those love-hate relationships, because some of the things I've seen from it is very promising for diseases, let's say. Children who have problems. There's some technology out there now that can almost eradicate some of those problems. And different cancers out there. There's like 7, I think there's, what they tell me, 7 different cures now for cancer. It's just, at what point are we going to come to, in order for this technology that's out there to be made available to the public, should we say? What are you going to have to sign away to in order to have access to this technology? But it can be used for evil just as much as it can be used for good. Because the evil part of it is that, and people go, "Oh, we're being tracked today." Well, yeah, we have. We've been tracked for, it's way back there, since the 90s. We've been tracked. But when I tell you today you're being tracked, guys, it goes beyond your imagination. You can walk in a Walmart now, and Walmart does facial recognition. Walmart, not necessarily just Walmart, but some of the department stores, they undress you, not to show you in a nude form, but to show if you're wearing a wig, or if you have any body parts that are not, flesh or bone, if you are carrying a weapon. I mean, anything that's not meant to be on your body actually can be shown up through some of the resolutions that's out there. And the crazy thing about this is not new technology. We've had this technology for, gosh, well, I'm not even going to say how many years, because it would blow your mind. But we've had it for a very, very long time. And we've been under surveillance. For someone to think at this point that you're going to go off grid, that you're going to move off into the woods, and you're not ever going to be a part of society, that's not going to happen. Okay? There is some technology out there with nanoparticles being put into some food that, if you have blood tests done, it shows up in your blood test, and a doctor can ask you, what have you been eating, or what have you been, what is your diet consisted of, and they can look and tell you if you're lying or not. There's technology out there that can scan you and know if you are a born-again believer or not. If you're a true born-again believer, or if you're just a confessing born-again believer. All this technology exists out there. And at some point, as good as a lot of it seems like it is, and it can be used for good, don't get me wrong, it can be used for good, but it will be used to operate the new beast system that is actually, it's actually upon us now. Okay, it's actually here. I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's here. It's just a matter of implementing it. And I'm going to tell you, within the next 6 months, if something drastic doesn't happen, you're going to see some changes that you probably never thought you would see in your life. If everything comes to fruition that they're actually putting out there. Most people by the end of November should have gotten a letter from their banks, or at least by the first of the year, at least. You should be getting a letter from your bank. There's just a ton of things, guys, that's going on behind our backs because they have us. See, this is how the system works. They have us focused on things that we feel like is really important. And it is important. Don't get me wrong, it is important. Like the situation in the Carolinas where Helene come through. Those people need help. And our stupid government tries to roll out the red tape through bureaucracy, and I gotta stop because I'm gonna get angry. Those people need help, and they need it from the government that they've helped fund and helped, keep in power. They should be stepping in right now helping these people. But I'm going to be honest with you, we went through Katrina down here and we saw what insurance companies and what government really does. We had people who lost their homes to flooding and had insurance. Paid up, premiums paid up and everything. They got $5,000 when they lost their home. That's it. They just got $5,000. And then they had to start all over again. And many of them had to take a second mortgage out because the mortgage that they either had to file bankruptcy and walk away from the debt because their home was gone and they owed a note on it. They either had to forfeit and sell the property and try to pay as much on the loan as they can and file bankruptcy on the rest of it and move on and try to start over. Most of them having to rent after that point, which was part of the plan. But the government stepped in and literally, guys, took everything through land grabs and stuff like this. And I'm here to tell you, this will probably transpire through what went on the East Coast up there. It's happened in other states on the East Coast. I don't know why it wouldn't happen now. We've got the people talk about I've known about this for probably 2 or 3 years, but the lithium mines or the lithium deposits, should I say, not mines. They have to have some way to grab some land before they can get to this, because right now everything's going to battery power this and battery power that, and lithium, hey, is the going technology right now. Even though I don't think it's going to be the end technology, I know that it's going to be part of the technology that's going to be used. Because actually now they have batteries that are no bigger than what I'm fixing to show you here on my screen right here. You see that square right there? They have batteries that are no bigger than that can power your house for a week. I mean, there's so much technology out there, it's not even real. But the Lord told us in the book of Daniel that in the latter days, man would be going to and fro in the earth, and there would be an increase of knowledge. These are in the latter days. And guys, we're there. it amazes me as to how many people want to go jet setting all over the country. You know, they want to get in a plane, they want to fly over here, and they want to fly over there and be here for this and be over there for that. Let's go on a vacation over here, or let's go this meeting over there, and we're going to and fro in the earth all the time. And depending on someone else to provide their well-being for them, their food, and go to a grocery store and get your food rather than doing your own. And then the increase of knowledge. I'm going to tell you something. Now, I can't prove this, but I'm going to tell you something that was shared with me probably 3-4 years ago. That there is a second book of Daniel that has been held in secret. And our government has a copy of it. The Vatican has a copy of it, and several of your other superpowers have copies of it. Now, I can't prove that this is actually true or not, but it has come to me from different sources, and that it deals with frequencies, and how that when Daniel was being shown all the things in the latter days, that the Lord told him, said to shut the book up. In other words, and Daniel shut the book up. And he says that it was, even with John and different ones that wrote in the Bible about the end times, that it was bitter to their stomach. And these books of frequencies is how some of the technologies that we have and some of the demonic entities has allowed man to come across some of this knowledge that really he shouldn't even have, to be honest with you. But I'm not going to go into a lot of that right now. I just want you guys to be aware that a lot of the technology that we think is really advanced is old news, like HARP. HARP is old news. CERN's still going pretty strong. As a matter of fact, there's not just one CERN in Switzerland over there. There's actually a lot of CERNs. Every country has its own CERN. CERN is advancing rapidly every day. Quantum theory technology, all this stuff. AI is advancing at the rate of hundreds of years every day. What used to take several years to figure out, AI can now figure it out in a matter of minutes. And AI is actually now, to my understanding, the last person I talked to, AI is now writing its own programs without man's intervention. Man has no clue about some of the stuff that it's even writing or how to even stop it, to be honest with you. So I just want you guys to be aware of some of the things that's going on. And don't panic. Don't be afraid. Because the Lord is ordering this in the latter days. He's told us about it in Daniel and Ezekiel. In Ezekiel, we saw the chariot with a ring of fire in the air. All these things are mentioned in Ezekiel. Or we call them a UFO or a UAP or whatever you call it. And we're told about it in the book of Revelation about the end of times. In the book of Daniel, we talked about the end of time. The book of Hosea. The book of, all these, Joel, all these books, Isaiah, all of them talk about the end times, and Jeremiah. And it's just, guys, we're not to be afraid. We're going to see things that's going to scare us to death. And a lot of people, there's got to be a falling away. The Lord tells us that in the latter days, before He returns, there's going to be a falling away. Now, it has to be a falling away of His people, because there can't be a falling away of the lost world, because they don't belong to Him. There's a falling away of His people, and I have my beliefs on that. I'm not going to go into it because it would be very controversial, I'm afraid, and I could probably prove my end of it, but that's not what this is for. But there's going to be a cataclysmic event amongst believers that is actually going to cause them to fall away. So just be aware of this. Don't panic when you start to see things happen. Guys, today, I'm getting cold sitting here. I love you. I appreciate you. And thank you for being a part of Porch Time and Deep South Homestead. So thank you guys from Deep South Homestead.